Hello, welcome back to Left and Pass. We're back to another video. Today I'm at the Blunt House, which is the second oldest house in Dalton, Georgia. The Blunt House was built in 1848, and it's the second oldest house in Dalton, Georgia, with the oldest house being the Hamilton House that was built in 1840 that predates the formation of the city of Dalton, which was in 1847. And even though it's not the oldest, it was the first two-story wooden house in Dalton, Georgia. And even though there are many houses around it now, it originally sat on 4 acres of land with several outbuildings and a barn. The house was closed at the time of recording, but I do have pictures of what the inside looks like, as well as pictures of what the inside looked like in 1980 that I'll show in just a moment. But the historical importance of this house isn't for the architecture or the once land it sat on, but that it was the home of Emory Blunt, who was the first mayor of Dalton, elected in 1847, as well as the first postmaster, one of the founders of the First Presbyterian Church, and an important player in the 1851 formation of Whitfield County. Emory Blunt was born in Amherst, New Hampshire in 1800. He was sent to Chattanooga, Tennessee to serve as a missionary to the Cherokees at Brainerd Mission by the American Board of Foreign Missions in the 1820s. While serving as a missionary, Blunt taught the Cherokee Indians English, religion, and agriculture. There he met his first wife, a missionary from Vermont, Harriet Ellsworth, and they had 5 children together. In 1843, Blunt got sick while traveling on the Trail of Tears as a missionary. Blunt and his family decided to move back to Brainerd, where he settled in Chattanooga, where he then later moved to Cross Plains, later called Dalton. He then started constructing a house for his family, but unfortunately his wife Harriet passed away in 1847 before the house was completed. He later married Elizabeth Christian Ramsey from Tennessee in 1849, and they had 1 daughter together. During the Confederate occupation of Dalton in the winter of 1863 and 1864, General Joseph E. Johnston and his staff officers were entertained in the Blunt House. But when the Union forces took Dalton, the Blunts traveled to Illinois to stay with his son John. The Blunt House was then used as a Union hospital with outside arbors that protected the wounded Union soldiers. And many of the wooden structures were dismantled for firewood during the occupation, and it's really unknown why the Blunt House survived, with possible reasons being it was used as a hospital and Mr. Blunt being a Union sympathizer. The Blunts returned in the summer of 1865, with Mr. Blunt passing away a few months later in December. The house was later willed to the Whitfield Murray Historical Society in 1978 and was later placed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1981. An extensive renovation was done to the house in 1988 with installments of central heat and air, but most of the furniture, clothes, books, linens, and objects are original to the house. The Blunt House is now a historic museum that's open to the public. And if you want to see the grave of Emory Blunt, watch to the end of the video. And this is the grave of Ainsworth Emory Blunt. He's buried at West Hill Cemetery in Dalton, Georgia. Okay, this is me all for today, guys. I hope you did enjoy that video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, and also subscribe down below if you haven't already, because it's free and helps me out a whole lot. So definitely do that if you haven't already. Leave in the comments below what you thought of this video and what you think about the history of this house. Well, I said thank y'all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.